I wanted contemporary, popular French cinema in a commercial venue.
It is an absolute joy today to be speaking with Marcelle Lean, the founder, artistic director, and executive director of Cinefranco. Cinefranco. Honestly, Marcelle, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
For those who have never heard of Cinefranco, am I saying it properly? Cinefranco?
Well,
Cinefranco.
it doesn't matter really because in French we say Cinefranco, and in English you can say Cinefranco. I coined up this word from cinema and francophone, and I thought it would be very understandable by everybody, cinema francophone, except that some Italian calls it Cinema Franco, So I thought, no, okay, I'm not going to change it. It's Cinema Francophone. So Cine Franco is fine. Yes.
Well, it is such a fascinating festival. For those who aren't familiar with Cinefranco, could you tell us a little bit about the festival?
Sure. So I created Cinefranco in 1997 on paper, but it is a project that I had in my mind for a while. I am passionate of cinema in general, and more exactly French cinema when I came here to Canada. So I wanted to share this passion of French cinema with whomever loved cinema, and so that's how I created it. But with a few principles. One of the principles is that I found that the Ontario Cinematheque was making of French cinema an elite kind of leisure, or and it was always talking about the Chabrol or the intellectual, the new wave all the time. But when I came to Canada in 1973, I mean, enough of the new wave already. We want to see contemporary films. We want the cinema to be popularized, and so the other principle, apart from popularizing the French cinema, I want it to be in a commercial venue. And because if I put it in a university, in a school, in a museum, I thought I would continue that elitist, idea. So the idea then became I wanted contemporary, popular French cinema in a commercial venue, and sort of parallel it with um, American cinema because we are invaded with that. And so that's how I started. But in my mind, in my French mind, I was considering it like a film club, like a book club, but a film club. And we went to the Cumberland Theater at the time, and now it's an espresso, So, so anyway, we went there because I think Alliance at the time wanted to have that, foreign films, so very quickly, Cinefranco grew in about 2 years or maybe 3 years. 1,200, people would come, and they said to me, it's too French, because we are in a multicultural city, and there are the francophones are themselves a diversity. So Quebec, Franco-Ontarian, of course, and North Africa, Senegal. So I started to explore, this. So it became a window and a celebration of talents of Francophone filmmakers, actors, script writers from all over Francophone cinema.
I love that. And it's because the language is French, but from what I'm hearing, this is a global celebration of popular French films, which I think is
That's right.
very exciting. Um, I'd love to know too, because in checking out the website, looking into it, we talk about French Canadian films and French international films, as you just said. Are there any key differences between those? I mean, a lot of times when we think of Canadian film, there's a certain ideology that comes through, or is there something ubiquitous about it?
There are major differences. First, I would say about the culture. But when I don't speak about the language or even the culture, what happens is that French cinema is a cinema that is well worked out. The infrastructure is there. If when you sell a certain number of tickets, you get a grant. You have many ways. It's an oiled up, kind of machine. For the Franco-Canadians, especially living in a minority, the infrastructure of granting, for instance, is done for the majority, not for the minority. So you have, these struggling, very talented directors, script writers, actors who have to do everything themselves. They have to find the money. They have to find, to write the script because they don't have enough money to pay a script writer, etc. So already, in the way that they are making films, you are going to find a lot of short films and documentaries made by Franco-Ontarian filmmakers. Why? Because short films, the most difficult, part of making a film, in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 3 minutes, you have to give your message, in a very significant way. Well, but it takes less money, and you can work with a small team. Some documentaries are made by one person, so already there you have just in the making of the films a big difference. And then comes what is natural, which is, yes, we speak a different language, we have a different environment, we share some history, and I have to say colonial history. I was born in Casablanca in Morocco. So I came from a colonial French, a country. So all of this, marks the difference, and they are obvious in a way. But it's the infrastructure, the way that accompanies the two cinemas.
That's amazing. That's so wonderful. I love to hear the way that they are sort of walking alongside each other and yet informing one another at the same time. And with that in mind, I wanted to ask you, one of the, when you look at Cinefranco, one of the things it says is the goal is to propel you to a singular universe.
Yes.
Could you talk a little bit about that? What does that mean to you?
Okay. So I generally speaking, the public likes a theme. We had immigration, we had masculinity, and we had feminism, we had racism. So this year, of course, I think about Cinefranco all the time. I'm a bit obsessed. So I had seen a film called A Girl a girl for a day. And it was the story of an intersex person in the 18th century. And I only saw the trailer. And it told you about this extraordinary, story. And then there were very harsh words accompanying, the trailer with one of the lawyer in the 18th century saying, "Oh, look, intersex." Um, it was not intersex at the time, it's hermaphroditus. This is the garbage of God's work. And I thought, oh my God, I was so shocked. And we would never say, I hope we would never say that, now.
Yeah.
And and I was thinking, it must have been very singular for people at the time to look at this sexual identity, So that started to say this is very unique in a way. And little by little, I thought, let me try to find films that show a unicity, a strangeness sometimes, something that is singular. And that's how this year we said to propel into a singular universe. So, for instance, there's this film. It's called Girl for a Day. There's this film called, in English, it's called The Midwife, but in French, it's called the Midman, because it's how this young guy coming from a very macho family, has failed his exams to become a doctor, and as he's waiting for the next exam. So where does he go? In obstetrics, and he becomes one singular guy, in a feminine word. So it is a comedy, but also it tells you, how prejudices, like his father says to him, you are dressed in pink, you are a nurse, you are a nurse. So the son it's only temporary, and if you see the trailer, there are scenes where he's rehearsing, giving birth, and this poor baby falls on the floor, and so this is very singular, in a way. So you have like that. We have a film called Here and There, Ici et là-bas, where also the impact of colonialism. You have a black man who thinks he's white, and you have a white man who thinks he's black, and he's in an illegal situation in France because he wants to return to Senegal, but he doesn't have the right papers. Where he's like a migrant in a way, a white one, it at the same time as it makes you laugh, it makes you think, look at how, as a, colony, like I say, I was born in Morocco. I can't speak Arabic. My mother tongue is French, So it's odd in a way, So these are the situations that we wanted, in the programming. For instance, there is this movie that just, passed, Party of Fools, about the condition of women in the 19th century in an asylum in Paris, where women who had large inheritance, were put away so that their brother, their husband, whatever, whomever would take that. This is the singular universe.
I love that. That's such a broad spectrum of conversations for the festival this year. That's great. Um, one thing I wanted to ask you too, though, is about the media arts program. I saw that on there, and I wasn't quite clear on what's involved and who it's for. Could you tell us about that, please?
Certainly, the Media Arts is an organization that is giving recognition, expression to in fact, to Franco-Ontarian artists. It could be cinema, it could be painting, any way, any artist, media arts, So I had sat on the board for a long time because it fulfilled also my need to want to give visibility, to these artists, but more in the cinema, and we with Diana Ouvrard, who is the executive director, we talked about a partnership. But this year, she said she wanted people to really um, to see media arts in a different way. Instead of watching the films in a horizontal way and in cinema, she wanted to take it as a vertical and as more like an exhibition. And so she worked more than I did actually on the idea, and and I think it's very, very interesting because she wants to attract people to the media arts, and I'm sorry. So this is, it is really her idea to attract people to their studio. Start with watching the vertical short films. So she threw this contest of less than 3 minutes, just to be marginal and filming with the iPhone. And so we all, the three of us, Mathilde is assisting Diana and myself. We watched the films. They were all good, to tell you the truth. So it was we discussed a long time, and six artists were chosen, and they are now on exhibition every day during the whole time of Cinefranco.
That's very exciting. That's great.
Yes,
I love
yes.
that, and empowering others to tell their stories, I think is a huge thing for me. I think that's awesome. Um, Marcel, I know we're running out of time, but this is fantastic. I appreciate the chance to chat with you.
Thank you.
How can people find out more about Cinefranco?
Well, we have a website, cinefranco.com. Um, we ran out of our wonderful booklets. But I would think that mostly it's the website that will direct them to the Carlton Cinema, where it's happening right now until the 10th of November. And also in the website, it's in English and in French. All the films are subtitled in English, and and they can know more about the films.
Wonderful. Wonderful. It sounds amazing. I really appreciate your time. I really
Thank
hope that people get the chance to check it out. Of course, as you said, goes through till the 10th of November. So there's still plenty of time to go and check out some of these films, and some of them just sound absolutely hilarious and poignant. So thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your interest. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcel. Have a great day.
Okay. You too. You too.
Thanks.